Welcome to CBS This Morning. Syria's military has launched what it calls a wide-scale ground offensive against terrorists. It follows new attacks from Russia, including cruise missile strikes against targets inside Syria.
But these missiles came from warships in the Caspian Sea. Russian warplanes have also bombed targets in northwest Syria. The U.S. says this morning that 90% of Russian attacks have not targeted ISIS or groups linked to al-Qaeda. The State Department says they hit moderate opposition groups. Holly Williams is monitoring the fighting from Istanbul, Turkey. Holly, good morning.
Good morning. Russia is launching its cruise missiles as part of a coordinated attack in the air and on the ground with the Syrian regime. And after 4 years of deadly civil war, Russia's air campaign may be tipping the balance in favour of the regime.
Blasting off from its warships on the Caspian Sea, Russia says its cruise missiles are hitting parts of northern Syria, where both ISIS and al-Qaeda-linked groups have a heavy presence. The Russian President Vladimir Putin said striking targets at a distance of over 900 miles showed the high qualifications of his country's military. More than a week after it began launching airstrikes in Syria, Russia seems to be reasserting itself as a superpower. Protected by Russian air cover, Syrian regime troops pushed into rebel strongholds in the country's northwest. Opposition fighters hit back, including with this missile, which appears to be American-made. But this was the most intense fighting they've seen in months. The US says Moscow's true motive in Syria is to prop up the regime by targeting its opponents, including so-called moderate rebels who are backed by America. The Syrian war has already claimed more than 250,000 lives, many of them killed by the regime's indiscriminate bombing of civilian areas. But Russia has now seized the initiative in Syria, and this coordinated offensive with the regime could be a game changer.
Russia's military build-up in Syria now also includes a battalion of ground troops, according to the US ambassador to NATO. And that's despite Russian assertions that it will not use ground troops in its operations inside Syria. Gail.
Thank you, Holly Williams, reporting from Turkey.